This is the intro to my video. Please subscribe. Woo! Hey everyone, welcome to Resin Crafting with Chris Collected. Happy 4th of July to everyone who's in America. And today we're going to do an awesome one, including the Pokemon series. We are going to do Hunter and Gastly and do all the spooky ones today. So as you can see here, we have 3 basic Pokemon molds plus 1 Pokemon ball. That's Togepi. She's not really spooky, but she's super cool, and so I decided to add her in today. I'm still using the crystal clear resin from Tea Expert. I'm not really sure how to use that pump very well, so I'm just kind of taking it out and using it the old-fashioned way. This is a 1-to-1 resin by volume. And so what we're going to do is just eye it. Pretty easy to do. Especially with this container, you can see the big bold lines on the side there. I basically just fill it up to those 2 lines and easy peasy. All right, now that we got that mixed up, let's go put some stuff into it. So one of the things we're going to do that's pretty interesting today is that I found this loose sand. You can make all kinds of little art projects out of it. I got it at Joann's on clearance, and I was like, ooh, I know what I can do with it. I can mix it with a bunch of resin. And so we're going to fill this container about half full of sand, and then later on put some resin in it. I'm also going to, because I want a spooky color, use this one called Mink. It almost looks like red and purple put together, but like a real deep burgundy red. And then later I'm going to mix this with some lighter purple and make an even better color. I really wanted a dark base to it. Next up, I can't have any project without a little bit of glitter in it, and I'm still using this Tahitian Sunrise Company. This is interference, and so it's going to make kind of a cloudy, but as you can see there, it reflects purple. I essentially have interference in all the basic colors. Just some stars for today's 4th of July. Some more glitter. Next up, this is the plastic reflective kind of glitter. Kind of an iridescent purple to it. It's been a minute or two, so we're going to let all those bubbles pop and go ahead and pour some out. The sand, I'm just going to let settle for now, and we're going to work with the other 2 first. Let's get it mixed up. Ooh, look how dark that is. So let's go ahead and lighten it up just a little bit with this lilac. I put a nice big scoop in there. Maybe just a little bit more. Because I really wanted it to be purple, but also like as dark as I could get. The demolding is included in this video, so make sure to check it out at the end. See, now look at it. It's like a slight undertone of purple now. All right, let's get to pouring. If you're familiar with my videos, you know my basic technique by now. Pour in most of it, and then try to use a little silicone brush to try to get up any little air bubbles that are in it, and then pour the rest. As with all the Pokemon videos, I want to have a Pokeball to go with it. Let's mix up the next color. This is the one with that interference in it, so it's going to be a much lighter color. I really wanted to balance out a really dark and a really light color. This one is really such a cool mold because it is a left and a right side. I thought it was just so interesting. I don't think I've seen another mold like that. Usually you're just stuck with the, it's always going to face left, always going to face right. I love this mold. I wish I could find some more of them. As you're going to see, we're going to do the double pouring technique with a few of these. Last up, we have Togepi. I'm going to do a split for this one. Try to get 50-50 if I can. This one has really thin legs, so I'm just going to let it flow naturally. And it's finally going to connect on the bottom there. I love when it connects. I'm going to lightly do this one, trying to pop any bubbles that we can, but it's not a very deep mold, so all the bubbles should come up. All right, next up, we're going to finally get to that sand. I've been mixing it, adding more epoxy in, mixing it, adding more epoxy in a few times now. That way it's really hyper saturated with resin, but at the same time also is 50-50 or so with the sand too. And this is a good way to make your resin stretch. If you're on a tighter budget, the sand was only $4 for that whole container, whereas the resin is going to be obviously much more expensive than that. So it's an easy way to just mix these products together and essentially make it go a little farther. Also making a unique effect. While most of my stuff has glitter and everything else and really reflects, this is sand and doesn't reflect as much. So it's going to be kind of a hard edge to it. I'm going to go ahead and take everything else that I have remaining and mix it all into a few new containers. Get that all mixed up. Getting that all mixed up, I wanted to make sure all of my mica powder was getting used up, so I'm gonna stir everything again. This is all the leftover clear that I had, all the leftover anything and everything, right? It all gets mixed in, and then now we have it and we're gonna use it. So you can see this has the mink in it, it has the stars in it, has a little bit of everything you see in the video. We are finishing this one up from a previous video. Make sure to go check that one out if you haven't. That was the first in my Pokemon series. I'm just trying to get any trapped air out of it I can. All right, now that one's filled up. Now we still have a little bit left to go, so I'm gonna grab a new piece that I haven't used yet. This is like a cloud tray mold. And this is where that sand's gonna come in. So I kind of wanted to play with the idea of, a cloud is supposed to be light and fluffy. Well, I made the exact opposite, right? I made a sand cloud. So it's gonna be really heavy and dense. And so the border of all this will have that dark sand to it. Let's make sure to get all of it out. I'm using my new silicone tool. Make sure to check out Unboxing Life. You can see me unbox all the cool things that I get. And then this is all of the extra stuff that you've seen me mix. I'm just gonna dirty pour that one. Let's make sure to get everything out. Stay tuned for the demolding that is coming up next. You know, I just want to get every last little drop out. But this tray mold will not be done this time. It will be done next time. So make sure to come back next Thursday at 3 p.m. and you can watch the premiere along with me. If not, hey, thank y'all so much. I am Chris Collected. I am a digital and physical media artist, meaning I make things that you can watch online and I make things that you can buy in person in local markets in Phoenix, Arizona. I do rug tufting, resin crafting, and sewing. I'm pushing on my road to 500, so thank you so much for subscribing and sharing my content. Now for the demolding. All right, so as you can see, everything has hardened. It's about a day or so later. As you can see, the backside, all of the sand is looking really good on there. You can see all the glitter that I put in there, but also you can see that white space. That means it's not full yet. Now, I could take it out. I mean, it technically has a back to it, but we're gonna go ahead next week and fill it up the remaining, and then we'll have a full tray. Let's check out all the ones that are done, though. So anytime you do this double pour that I had done, you can see there on the right, the two different styles. So you can see the tips are all very clear, and this one has all the stars in it. Isn't that so cool? As I was saying, you can see with this one, you see all the tips are one color, but then the center is that super dark. I think it turned out perfect the way I wanted. And you see it created like a crackle effect. It's one of my favorite techniques. Now, this is just that pure mink with a little bit of that lilac. It turned out exactly like I wanted. So shiny, yet so spooky. Next up is the Pokeball. As you can see, all the stars have fallen. And it looks really good. If you're really into Pokemon, there used to be these ancient ones. It reminds me of that, like an ancient Pokeball. This is, again, one of my favorite techniques. This is like the half and half technique. And so you can see there in the middle, you have this natural split between them. So is he good or is he evil? Ooh, who knows? And this style, that's what it's for. You can put your little fingers in there. But I would never recommend using resin for self-defense. But it's so cute though, isn't it? And you can see right at that split there, you see a little bit of that crackle as well. All right, now for our last piece. We started this one last week, and now we're gonna finish it up. Any of these ones, you're gonna need water and a little bit of soap in there. And it will help, anything that's a tight seal on there will help get it. Those flat molds, they don't need it, but these big ones, they definitely do. I really want to show you, that's a tight seal in there. But once you get it, it's good. The mold's still perfect. Look at that. So if you remember, the Bulbasaur from last week is green, and so the top half of that is all Bulbasaur green, and the bottom half of that is all Gastly purple. You can really see it in the light. The purple shines through, and then in the dark, you see the burgundy to it. And I love how the top half is a little bit translucent, but the bottom is so dark. Look at that center. Happy 4th of July, everyone. If you're in America, it's Independence Day today. I think that's probably my favorite piece of today. Because, you know, a lot of these pieces, because they take 2 weeks to make, they end up just being my favorite piece. And you can store all your resin in it. So as I said before, this piece is not done, so we'll do that next week. Make sure to stick around for any images you'd like to see. I'm always hitting that bottle. See y'all next time. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Y'all have a wonderful day. Happy 4th of July, everyone.